The home of the common Joe and the common Sally in the know, even more so than all those media talking heads. Well, here we are again. Woo! Man, oh me. I just keep finding these con men out there. From Tebow to Deion Sanders. Now, I've already done a few podcasts on this guy, so I don't know why it didn't dawn on me sooner. But now we got Brian Kelly, who we're going to have to give an acronym to. Just like Tebow, he's TBDS. The bitch down south. But before I get to all that, I'd like to ask you guys to like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel, The Big Four. Because subscriptions and sharing, especially those two things, keep me up and going and keep me motivated, keep me in the good graces of YouTube. And if you don't mind, right down there, up underneath this video next to the download option, there's that heart that says thanks. Click on that. Drop me a few dollars in the coffers, and that way we can get off this YouTube teat. Now, getting right to it. I was watching my boy Jonathan Lewis's podcast, College Football with Jonathan Lewis. Check that out. It's a pretty good, informative channel, especially if you like recruiting. But he's varied, and he has other topics as well. But he was doing one on CJ Carr leaving the state of Michigan to go to Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman went into the backyard of Michigan and got a legacy by the name of CJ Carr, who is the grandson of Lloyd Carr, who was a great coach at Michigan before Michigan had a spastic bowel movement and got rid of him over one bad loss to Appalachian State. But that's another topic for another day. But Marcus Freeman going in there and getting that guy that was a legacy, and from a guy that's supposedly a quarterback guru. He's not looking like one much these days, although he did make the playoffs last year. They got a little lucky. The defense probably got him there. But this guy was a quarterback as a player. Jim Harbaugh was. And all those things were working against Marcus Freeman, and he still got the guy. So that makes me think that maybe Brian Kelly is a piece of shit too. Because, he went to, and I got to give him kudos. The USC fans out there, they sort of pointed this out, like, why are you going so hard after Lincoln Riley when Brian Kelly just as bad, if not worse, to Notre Dame by going to LSU? And the reason why is because Brian Kelly, outside of that one little weird-ass, perverted-looking video that he did with his players when he was bumping and grinding on them, looked like he was trying to start a second version of Sandusky's Second Mile or some shit. Outside of that, Brian has not really opened his mouth and done a bunch of interviews and made himself known like Tebow has when he's been running his mouth, making excuses for the way he done Oklahoma. Brian has been pretty quiet since the beginning of the year, but he is a weirdo. And the weirdo claims that the reason why that he left Notre Dame was because they can't recruit there. He's like, you can't get recruits to Notre Dame. It's impossible. It can't be done. You just can't do it, is what he was saying. And it goes back to the thing that Tebow was doing as well. To say that you can't get great players to these traditional powers that have won national championships multiple times throughout history, not just in a short span, Johnny-come-lately, flash-in-the-pan programs. These programs have been around for the better part of the 120 years of college football, and to say that you can't recruit to these programs makes you look rather stupid. It also makes you look like maybe you're just not that good of a recruiter if you can't get players to these traditionally big-name programs like Oklahoma and Notre Dame. So Marcus Freeman comes in there, and now, from some stats that my boy Jonathan Lewis will give me, he has the number one class in 2023 right now, and the number two class in 2024. You're like, JPC, that's a while out. That could change. That is true. It could change. Could change dramatically. But the point is, Brian Kelly never had him number one at any point. So already he's ahead of the game. He's already got 2 5-star recruits in these classes. Whereas Brian Kelly had 11 5-stars over the entirety of his career at Notre Dame. I think it's, what was there, like 12 years? That's only an average of maybe one, not even one, like 0.9. Not even one 5-star recruit averaged a year under Brian Kelly's tenure. But you can't recruit Notre Dame, right? It don't look right to me. And I mistakenly said, back in one of my videos that Oklahoma's 2022 class was 38th. I had it backwards. When in fact, their class was number 8. So, these two coaches go hand in hand. Obviously, you can recruit to Oklahoma because they ended up in the top 10 in a year where there was turmoil and coaching changes at both programs, and they're still getting great recruits at both programs. These guys are like bad car salesmen. At first, they come to town, they're selling good cars, the cars are good and all that, and then the cracks start to show. Their moral compass starts to out them. And that's what's happened with Brian Kelly, is his moral compass is going to out his ass. He's already come down here and basically tried to make people think that he had a Southern accent. It wasn't like he was telling a joke. If he was telling a joke and doing a Southern accent, I could dismiss that. But he was actually trying to talk Southern and act like he was a Southern guy now. And only been down here a week, if that much. So the disingenuity of both of these coaches go hand in hand. But Brian Kelly saying they can't recruit there. Marcus Freeman, who's never been a head coach, by the way, either. It ain't like they went out and got some guy that was experienced and already knew how to recruit and be a head coach at the same time. This guy has never been a head coach, and he's already out recruiting Brian Kelly, who's at a program that's won 3 national championships this century under 3 different head coaches. He's trying to hide and mask his inability to recruit by coming to LSU. And it's really the backwards thing that he should have done. He should have stayed at Notre Dame, because then he could have kept the facade going when he failed at recruiting. Now, Brian, if you don't come down here and recruit at a high level, and you got the SEC and LSU behind you, the team with the 2nd most national championships this century, your little skirt's going to be pulled down. They're going to tan your bottom blue, and they're going to kick your ass out at Baton Rouge. And one more thing before I get up out of here. Brian Kelly was never able to get a great quarterback in his tenure here. And already, like I alluded to earlier, already Marcus Freeman in his first year has gotten a quarterback that's considered a 5-star and considered to be one of the best quarterbacks coming out of his class. Got it in the backyard of Michigan, a legacy, and out-recruited a guy that was considered a quarterback whisperer. Not so much these days. Not to mention there was numerous other major programs that were going after that guy. And already Marcus Freeman has an elite quarterback in his first year. Brian Kelly couldn't do it in 12 years. And that's all I got to say about that. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And as always, KMCA to all the other teams.